All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Back to the Blockbuster. My name is Gaius Bowling, and I'm joined with the fellows once again.
The
What's up,
boys.
guys?
The boys.
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Happy
So in
Monday,
case-
fellas. Happy Mondays.
So, in case of course, everyone knows Owen Erickson, and people have gotten to know Jack Gonzalez as a guest on the show on a few episodes. But we are going to officially announce today that Jack is now a permanent third host on Back to the Blockbuster.
Let's go. We couldn't be more excited.
I'm very happy for this opportunity. I'm glad that the episodes that we've done together have resonated with you guys and with the fans and listeners. So I'm just jacked up to be here. I mean, Gaius and Owen, you both know I've been talking about this for a long time. Even before you guys started the podcast, that I wanted to do this. So jacked up, hot takes coming in, people. I'm not going to be a little, I was a little subdued.
Here's where it starts.
I was a little taken back, make sure I was okay to be invited again. But now, watch out. We got some hot takes coming in, people. Respectful hot takes, though. Respectful hot takes.
Yeah. It came as a, in the beginning we were 3 and then we were 2 and then we kind of had guests on and Jack had been a guest a few times and we talked about should it just be the two of us? But then, Owen was one of the main people that was like, his energy is really good. Playlist has commented on his energy as well. And also more importantly for me, which is what I thought was really good. Looking back and listening to other episodes that he can talk about other, his bread and butter is the comic book stuff. He's made that known. It's the DC Marvel stuff, but he also can talk about other aspects of the industry and other types of films and TV, and so he can be a part of every conversations, and that's important. So he can't and not just having one lane to kind of be good in. And so it was when it was.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I was looking back and at all of my favorite episodes that I continue to kind of re-listen to and analyze a little bit more, think about things that I wish I would have said. All of them are ones that Jack's been on. And so just had that conversation with Gaius and was just like, you know what, if I'm always looking forward to having Jack on, why don't we just make it a permanent thing? So just really excited to have you on, man. And welcome to Mondays.
Yeah,
man, you guys are gonna make me cry on a Monday. I appreciate it, guys. I think the three of us. Even in person when we're talking, it's electric. So happy to be on full time. And honestly, if we're gonna get into it, segue. We have a bread and butter in the Thor trailer and a normal movie in Mission. Well, it's not normal, but Mission Impossible.
Normal movie.
In the sense that it's going on the big screen. But yeah. Case, what's the first thing on the docket, brother?
I do want to say this too, though, about the trailers. And Jack has brought this up before, which is a good thing about him being a permanent host now. Is we have all these big trailer drops sometimes, and sometimes they drop either in the middle of the week when we're not recording or something like that. And now that there's 3 of us, I've talked to Playlist a little bit about this, and this was a suggestion from Jack to kind of do these quick little snippet audio video things, if there is a kind of trailer reaction that we can just send out that can kind of go out almost in real time. So since there is more of us available now, you're going to be able to see a lot more of that, more instant, I guess, than just waiting until listening to us on Thursday when the episodes are released. So that's another exciting part about having a third person on, is that there's more people that do different things. So normally I think moving forward, when big trailers like this drop, there'll be more specific, more timely kind of hot takes on them. Probably mostly from Jack, because I feel like Jack would be really good at the hot takes on the trailers.
Just more content, guys. Just more content constantly coming your way.
Yeah, My life is hot as a hot take, so let's get it going.
But the first trailer that dropped early this morning was for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I was trying to get all the title right.
That's a mouthful. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a mouthful. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's a mission on its own to start saying that whole freaking name.
But fun fact for it, Tom Cruise wrote that as just the holding title, and then when he went through all the options for it, he came back to that one, and he literally says fuck, we landed on that. It's we know it's a bad game.
No one wanted to sell Tom Cruise no.
Yeah,
no, not at all. So the trailer, of course, is coming out because it's going to be attached theatrically to Top Gun Maverick, which opens on Friday. I also heard that there were some leaks of it over the weekend, which probably prompted them to release it a lot sooner than they maybe intended to. Um,
Hmm.
because it's like a year out before we even get the movie, so this is a very
Yeah.
early look at it. Um, but it looks pretty amazing. I mean, I was trying to think of a franchise that has gotten consistently better with its last few installments, and this is definitely one of them. I think since like Ghost Protocol, the fourth one, that they have gotten like
Yeah.
consistently better. Um, and this one actually looks like it kind of is following suit on that. I think he definitely knows how to sell these things to an audience. And we're going to be talking about Tom Cruise a lot later, but like the best thing about him is that he's a pure lover of cinema and making all this stuff seem and appear as real as it can possibly be.
Hmm.
So that means like upping
Totally.
the ante on like the stunts and like all this other stuff. And there's some stuff in the
Practical
trailer that's
effects.
like, yeah, there's some stuff in this trailer that's like, oh, he's at it again. But like, this is what he's known for, and like,
Yeah.
he's still good at it.
Is this the movie where he got leaked the rant like I'm on the phone with every
Yeah,
guy?
Yeah.
yeah. This
So,
was
I'm
the
excited-
Wear
COVID.
your
so-
mask.
I'm excited for this movie strictly because of that rant, because
Yeah.
that was a class A, just shit on everybody. I'm like the boss. Like it was so funny. I thought that was hilarious.
I'm really excited for this movie. I think that I know we talk about sort of the ridiculousness of the Fast and Furious franchise, but this is one of those franchises where I'm expecting it, and I kind of keep going like I can't wait to see what they have for this next installment. I mean, the last one, if I remember correctly, it's like I was like, can he really hold his breath for like 6 minutes? I was like underwater and swimming in this turbine. Like, is he really going to do that? And yeah, of course he is. So it's like
Yeah, of course.
this sort of like Jack, as you said, like practastical sort of stuff that
Fantastic.
happened. It's like this is one of the ones where I actually get excited for how crazy can they kind of go. I mean, it's in the title. It's impossible. Can they actually do it? I will say that I don't really like their IMF. I'm not a huge fan of the Impossible Mission Force or whatever they call themselves. I think that just sounds a little bit lame. But I'm really excited for it. Huge fan of Simon Pegg, and just really excited to kind of see what they got in store for us next. And honestly, I mean, the trailer kind of is a little bit vague and mysterious, and I think that's good because in the past I feel like I've seen basically what the movie is in the trailer, and this one kind of keeps it a little bit under wraps. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens, and I know we're going to see a scene where he's sprinting full pace, and it's we're going to get.
I think on a moving train apparently.
No, I think so. For the trailer, basically my entire thought was I'm just waiting for the big reveal of the big stunt he does, because obviously like last year it was like he was holding on to a fucking side of a B-77 plane, like what? Or holding his breath for 6 minutes. So I think it was the last scene where he's like riding a motorcycle and just jumps off the cliff and it just free falls. That's just sick. I mean, Tom Cruise doing it himself, that's nuts. But back to Gais's point of like, where do you rank this in like terms of like he can't think of another movie line or like series that has like actually gotten better over time. I think because Mission Impossible, what did the first Mission Impossible come out? Like early 2000s?
96.
Late
Okay,
90s.
so
Yeah.
even better. It proves my point even better. In those movies, those earlier movies, they had to make a good movie because it didn't have all of this fantastical, practical effects that they did. So they had to make a good movie. They had to make an actual, like, plausible with some sweet stunts. But then they didn't, like, just churn out 5 more. They waited a little bit. There was a little bit of breaking time before they made the next 3. And by that time, they, like, CGI and special effects and, like, stunt coordination had, like, taken a 10-year leap in 3 years. So they had the storylines down. Now they just made the actions even better. And because we know it's Tom Cruise, he's always going to stay true to him. So we know it's not a stunt double. So like I think that's why like it's been tried and true. It's a tiring save the world movie every single time. But
Mhm.
because, like you're saying, I'm there for like I'm expecting these awesome things to happen. So I think that's where it really Mission Impossible like movie series has solidly like put themselves in like we can churn out a good movie, but we also know that we're not going to get ahead of ourselves or like
Yeah.
we're self
Yeah,
aware. We're self
and
aware enough to know that this is ridiculous, but not ridiculous.
I really hope that they kind of take a little bit of a different twist into what the world-ending event could be, because in the past and kind of all of these last sort of like doomsday sort of movies, the only thing that they're all trying to stop is a bunch of nukes are going to get set off, and like that's the main that's the main thing they're trying to stop. And like as realistic as that is they're trying to make sure they save the plutonium or steal it back from the bad guy or something. It's like I'm getting a little bit tired of let's just not try and nuke the whole world. So I hope that there's like a little bit of a different sort of villain that isn't just trying to annihilate the world. Like maybe there's a different sort of cause or a different reason for his world-ending um, fierceness, and that's what he wants. So like, at least I hope they go in that direction. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're stopping a nuke, I guess that's good. That's cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we had to put bets down, if all three of us had one, like I'm going bioterror.
Nukes.
You're going
All right,
nukes. I'm
Bio.
going
Or
bioterror.
buy up. Yeah,
I'm
buy
going
up.
nukes.
I'm going biothreat. It has to be.
Both. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can we both?
Nuclear bio. Yeah.
It's a nuclear biothreat, which is
Yeah.
again, the same thing.
I want to piggyback on what Jack.
I'm changing
I
mine
wanna
to like a genetic disease, like widespread disease,
Oh,
a la James Bond.
Okay.
okay. I can
Not
go. I
targeted.
can go with that. I want to
All right.
piggyback on what Jack said about the films like taking their time and not just kind of like churning them out. Tom Cruise
Yeah.
is also very smart about the filmmakers that he's choosing for these because everyone that he's chosen has like a distinct style how they made these movies. Like the first one was directed by Brian De Palma, and then the second one he went with John Woo. Some people don't like the second one, and he kind of looked at what worked and what didn't. The third film he went with J.J. Abrams, and that has its what works and what didn't. He went
Can
with
you say the
Brad Bird.
titles
He went.
too?
Okay, so
Say the titles
well,
too.
uh,
Like
so
the ending one.
and then Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was directed by Brad Bird, who did like The Incredibles and Iron Giant, and that film arguably brought the franchise back. A lot of people said that Ghost
Totally.
Protocol was the one that kind of
And our boy was in that one. Oh, and our boy Henry.
Oh yeah, dude. I was waiting to comment on like what a great addition he was to that movie. And
Yeah.
honestly, he should rock the beard. He looks great,
Oh,
clean
my-
shaven, but he looks great in the beard.
Okay, but I can't like Ghost Protocol because they fucked up Justice League because of it. They wouldn't let him shave the
No.
mustache.
Jesus.
Oh god.
And then with these last few, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Mission Impossible Fallout, and then the Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2, Christopher McQuarrie is like his guy. Like he's his go-to guy on these last few installments. So I think a lot of it has to do with just Tom Cruise wanting the right people to work on these. And
Mhm.
I think that's why they're not rushed out.
Yeah.
And it's a benefit to the franchise as well. That they're not just cranking them out every 2 years or so. Like there's a I know this one's getting delayed because of COVID and all that, but even without the delay, it's still kind of a little bit of a wait because Fallout came out in 2018, and
Yeah, but like,
before
if you
that, Rogue
told me
Nation
like
was
another
2015.
Mission Impossible
Yeah.
movie was coming out, it would have been like sweet. Like it's not like again. It's like sweet. Like
Yeah.
another awesome movie. So I think
they
like
let-
that spacing. You're right. The
They
decisions
let
to
them
make
breathe.
the precision are,
Yeah.
are huge.
Yeah, Gaius, we were actually just talking about this on the last episode about kind of the wait time between movies and franchises and how Scream seems like it's being a little bit rushed. And some other ones that we kind of like the pacing. And this has been a pretty good distancing between movies. And I also think that it takes a little bit of time, too, because, I mean, these cannot be easy movies to shoot.
No,
And
they're not.
there's some like serious scenes
There's
with
so
like
much
a lot of moving
physical.
parts.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not surprised that it's taken a little while to in between these movies, and I'm glad they're taking their time with it because on the screen it shows that they're paying attention to the details. I think that's important.
Right. Another thing I want to point about Christopher McQuarrie that directed these last few, he also is just in the Tom Cruise I guess circle because he has either wrote or produced many of his films, especially in the last few years. So he did Valkyrie Edge of Tomorrow, Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, The Mummy, and he wrote or produced. And he produced on. He produced on.
The Mummy.
He produced on.
Okay, well,
he
based
produced
on
on
that, like,
Maverick,
not really the most fantastic track record for this guy. I mean,
but good director though. I mean, he's listed here as a writer or producer on those movies. I don't know. I don't think he. Please don't tell me he wrote The Mummy. Then I'll feel bad. No, he did not write The Mummy. Oh no,
Okay,
he did.
good.
Fuck. He was
No.
he was one of 3 screenwriters on it. They had 3 screenwriters.
Oh,
you're
They-
allowed to have
people
one
get
bad
it
egg.
right.
You're allowed to have one bad egg. Honestly, if
Yeah.
they were all bangers, I wouldn't trust him.
That's true.
Because then you know he's going to fail soon.
He's
Yeah,
you
he's
got
gonna-
it. You can't like M. Night Shyamalan. The Happening. I mean,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They all have a stinker. Everyone has a stinker or 2. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's crazy that the movie doesn't come out until July 14th, 2023. So it's a very long wait. And then Dead Reckoning Part 2 will follow that on June 28th, 2024. So we have
Nice.
a lot to look forward to.
Why are they doing 2 pieces? Is it or 2 parts? Is it because this is like the last one?
So this was always the intention. They haven't announced it as the last one, but they were filmed back to back to be released as 2 separate movies.
Interesting.
I don't know, but they haven't announced it as the last one. They could later.
how
but,
long's the wait between the two?
So July 14th, 2023, and then June 28th, 2024.
You can't do that. You can't wait a year. What's the point? You've already filmed them. Like it would. Come on,
Yeah.
just give it to us 6 months, even 4 months. I mean, however long the shelf life is. I know like studios want to make money, but like with Avengers and Endgame and Infinity War, they were filmed back to back. Those were released within like 8 months. I think that was perfect, right?
Yeah, that was a
Like,
good time.
It's too long, a year. Like I'm gonna forget about it.
What happened to letting it breathe, guys?
I think it has to do with the part 1, part 2.
Yeah, part 1s and part 2s are not allowed to breathe.
I'm tired of the part 1, part 2. Honestly, like when it kind of started, I think Harry Potter was the one that kind of got it started. I mean, they didn't think that they could give it really a justified end with just 1 movie, so they turned it into 2, and I will always be thankful for that. But at the same time, now I just feel like it's a money grab to try and get 2 of them. I mean, like Twilight did it with their finale.
Stick to a 4-hour movie.
I don't think we necessarily need to have these consistent like part 1, part 2. Like, just I don't know. I think it's getting a little bit tedious.
Yeah, I got it with Harry Potter because even though I didn't read that book, I know it's a pretty like fucking healthy size book, and there's a lot of like material in it. So I understood splitting that into 2 movies, but then like Twilight didn't need to be. That finale didn't need to be 2 movies, and I could argue that like the Hunger Games that finale didn't need to be 2 movies either.
No.
But I mean, they all made money, so I guess there's that.
It works,
So, I mean,
and that's what's frustrating.
Hunger Games is trash.
Hunger Games.
The first one's good.
The first one's really good.
Okay, you can't justify a whole entire series 3-parter on one movie. That is trash.
I thought it stuck the landing for the most part. I don't know. I don't hate
girls.
I don't think they're like great, but I could like get through them.
I'm sorry.
I think the first one is fantastic.
I just don't like her.
Jennifer Lawrence?
You don't like
Don't
Jennifer
like
Lawrence? Oh, she needs to be our next Back to the Blockbuster.
Ooh, yeah, we'll do the Back to the Blockbuster.
I will go.
That's actually that's a great call.
Because I know a lot of people that don't like her.
Yeah, let's not dive deep into it because I will.
She's not quite like Brie Larson. She's not quite Brie Larson when it comes to like.
That's my other least favorite. Those 2. Oh God.
I don't know. Have you seen Passengers? Killer movie. I'm kidding.
Moving on to the next trailer.
Yeah, so right before we hopped on here, during the NBA game, they aired a trailer for the first full trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. So we got to see more of Natalie Portman as Thor. I was told not to call her Lady Thor by people on social media, so I won't. I'll say Thor.
Oh, really?
Really? Why? Why?
I don't want to get them mad at me again.
Because she's just Thor, right? Is that why?
Because she's just Thor. Like, why do we have to make a difference and call her Lady Thor? It was this whole big thing on Twitter. And I was like, okay.
How about if we call Chris Hemsworth Manly Thor?
Who's Chris Hemsworth? What do you want from us, people?
Well, I don't know. That's what
You can't
I was
just have two Thors. There's got to be like the Mighty Thor. I thought she was the Mighty Thor, to be honest. I thought there was a Mighty in front of it. So
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I was just told not to call her Lady Thor because that's what they
Fine.
were calling her. They were calling her that on like
I'm calling
Twitter.
her Poor Thor.
Poor Thor.
Oh,
Where's that same argument with She-Hulk then? It's the same thing.
Well, no, She-Hulk is the actual name of the character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not Lady Thor in the comics.
In the comics. Gotcha. Okay.
That's speaking of trailers. Can we just before we get into that? We'll save the She-Hulk for after this one because I got some.
Oh yeah. So not only did we get more of her, but we got. I know a lot of people were upset with the teaser trailer because we didn't get a glimpse of Christian Bale or the God Butcher, but he is in this trailer, and I think I don't know. I like what I see so far. I thought it looked good. It looks good. It seems
I'm
like it's
just as
following
excited
more,
as I was.
yeah, it seems like it's following more of the style of Thor Ragnarok, which I mean, I know I can't remember. Jack, were you like not okay with them kind of just going down that route?
No, yeah, okay. So just like Owen said that he's just as excited. This trailer definitely made me more excited than the teaser. But again, it also goes back to my like, why the hell did they give us a teaser that was 1:30 and then just give us a full trailer?
I know.
And at 2:15. Just give me
Yeah.
the whole thing in 3 minutes and just like let me watch that for a million times over. Not
Release one.
Yeah, exactly.
mean,
But this definitely made me a lot more excited. Because Christian Bale's character like has a little monologue, so I got a little bit of like
What he's gonna be all
motivation to what
about.
he's doing. And if you know that like big snow beast that's like dead, that's like, okay, well, if fucking Christian Bale can kill this huge, massive like god, apparently, should be a good movie. But definitely excited to see what Port Thor is about to be doing. That one
Poor
scene
Thor.
where she throws the hammer and it kind of like breaks off into like little pieces and then comes back together. It's like that's pretty
Sweet.
dope. Yeah.
Super
But
dope.
also,
That was really cool.
in the trailer, he's like Mjolnir, like he lost it. I'm pretty sure he had like
He got it in Endgame.
and no, well, if I know I'm correct in this. The last person to have it was Steve Rogers when he went back in time, and he never came back to time
With it. Oh yeah, true.
So I'm very interested to see how they explain that because like did Mjolnir
actually the way I think that it happens is like so he went to the past when Mjolnir was not broken. This might just be she reconstructed the broken one from that time. I guess I don't know. It's all convoluted now.
No, you're right. No, I think that's probably the best way to say it because I'm thinking the last time it was broken was with help me out here, guys. What was her name?
Hela.
Yeah. Was that her name, Hela? No,
I think so.
Kate,
no, it wasn't Helen. I think
it wasn't Hela. Don't say.
Wait, hold on. I got it. I'm pulling up.
Hold on.
All
no,
right,
it is Hela.
Helen.
It is Hela.
Yeah, it is Hela. Yeah,
it's Hela. Yeah, I just like saying Kate Blanchett. Just Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins.
It is just Kate Blanchett. Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins says it way cooler than we both say it. So, anyways, yeah. So that's the only time. So maybe it reconstructed because it finds Port Thor.
Yeah.
So, but again, I need a lot of backstory as to why the fuck she's all of a sudden chosen to be Port Thor.
Yeah. I mean,
they need a reason
to
call. They need a reason to call Natalie Portman back and not just offer her.
That
it was in her contract.
to not call her back and just say, "Do you just want to play Jane again? Like just Jane?"
Because
no. She's like, "No, I don't want to do that." But yeah, trailer is good, and I know we've talked about this before. But I still don't know for sure if this is true, but I think she was more enticed to come back because of this angle of the story rather than just playing like Jane Foster
obviously.
Again.
Definitely.
But yeah, all the like promotional art that's come out, like they released a new poster today that looks really cool. I just love the look and everything they're going with for this.
It kind of has a very neon look.
Yeah, it's going to continue another successful run for Marvel because like Doctor Strange just crossed $800 million worldwide. It's not going to hit $1 billion. We were all talking about whether it was or not. It's going to be
Called
possibly
it.
short at like it's going to be short at like 950, or maybe
Called
they're
it.
shooting at 950. But this is
Yeah.
without a release in China or Russia. So the fact that it's making this much money worldwide, even being
It didn't
like
get
a
released in
device,
China.
no, and either the Spider-Man No Way Home, like a lot of like some of their movies haven't gotten released in China lately.
Why not?
The alphabet.
I'm not entirely sure why they're not.
It's
Some of them are getting released.
I know it's the LGBTQA characters.
Oh,
Oh,
interesting.
that could be,
Sorry if I was a little insensitive with the alphabet joke, but yeah, it's because America
that could
they
be,
didn't want America Chavez's parents seen being in there, and Disney put their feet in the ground. It's like no.
They're like, we
Spider-Man.
can still make $800 million. It's fine.
Yeah,
We're gonna
exactly.
keep it in.
Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man.
yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
I can't remember. I can't remember any characters being outwardly.
Yeah, I don't think
that
there were.
movie.
I think a lot of it too has to do with China has been blocking a lot of Hollywood movies lately because they haven't really been doing entirely well over there either. Like, the Batman got released out there and didn't really do that much business in China either. And normally a movie like that would.
Yeah.
I think a lot has just changed too with the pandemic and like the way movies are being released overseas.
Yeah.
But like a movie like Doctor Strange didn't even need it. I mean, this is a divisive Marvel movie that some people are like, "Oh, I don't know how good it is," and it's gonna make over $900 million worldwide. And
Yeah.
I'm sure
Shows
Thor:
their
Love and
strength.
Thor: Love and Thunder is also going to be a big worldwide
I'm calling
hit
it.
too.
Calling it now. This will beat Doctor Strange.
Thor.
Oh, worldwide.
I can see it. I can see it doing it.
That's Jack's call right there. I'm saying Thor in the end. After 45 days, we'll call it beats Doctor Strange.
I think that's a good take, honestly.
All right, we'll go back on that and see because like yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think it will too, only because I think there's more. God, I don't even say hype.
There's a bigger audience for it.
There was hype behind Doctor Strange too.
I wouldn't say it's a bigger audience because Doctor Strange was also in Avengers, so he's there. Like everyone knows him, everyone loves Cumberbatch. But I just think this movie's gonna be more fun and like
except for our friend Tanner. I'm sorry, I was like
less confusing.
Yeah, he hates Benedict Cumberbatch for some reason.
Does not like Benedict Cumberbatch, and couldn't really give us a proper reason as to why
the
he
only
didn't like.
The only movie he likes him in is The Imitation Game, and I was like, out of everything, that's the movie that you like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, the one where he gets medically castrated and dies.
And that could be it.
I have no idea his reasoning behind it. Gosh.
Love and Thunder comes out on July 8th, so it's actually going to be here closer than we think. So we'll be able to check it out then. And I hope this is like, no, with this much time, will there be another trailer, or is this it?
No, there'll be another one.
Are they trying to crank out another one?
There'll definitely be another one.
Ugh, gosh.
Yeah, we live in a day and age where there are actually teasers made for trailers dropping the next day. So they're like, there's a teaser trailer for the release of the trailer, which is so weird to like make a 20-second clip of like arriving tomorrow. Like that's so weird. Like why don't you just like,
bro? It's all for the end of the year numbers. That's all it is. That's all it is. End of the year numbers.
Yeah,
like end of the year. Like in terms of like social media interactions and stuff.
That's all it is.
Well, speaking of social media interactions, this will kind of get us into the next trailer that'll be fun to talk about. So She-Hulk debuted its trailer. She-Hulk debuted its trailer, and 78 million views in its first 24 hours, which is only second to like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that trailer premiered. That sounds all good on paper, but I think a lot of people were watching it just to see if the CGI was as bad.
They were seeing She-Hulk drag that wagon, bro.
Yeah, it was a lot of like there were a lot of stuff on social media immediately that was like, I don't like the look. What's up with the CGI? Why does it look so cheap? There's a lot of that going around. From what I heard, that this trailer was cut before they went back and enhanced a lot of CGI on the show. But I still don't see why they would
do that then.
Yeah, I don't know why they would release this. I mean, I think they needed something to release at the upfronts, and because like Disney and Marvel had their upfronts last week, and they probably just needed something to present from their TV shows.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it paid off. A lot of people looked at the trailer, so they can brag about how many people viewed it in 24 hours. But I don't think they can brag about why people might be viewing it, because I think that's where a lot of the curiosity came from. Is like, is it as bad as it looks?
I just don't really get it, though. I don't really get the premise. Like, it doesn't.
So it's
really
a legal comedy,
that,
which is interesting take.
But I don't really understand it. It's like, all right, we want you to be a lawyer for superhero-related things. I get that. But what is the purpose of turning her into the Hulk then? Because Bruce Banner does it. Like, he turns her into this. And I was like, but why? Because, you're doing this because if you're going to have to face off against them, you're going to have to beat them physically, too. I'm like, well, she's a lawyer. Like, it's against the law. Like, she's literally, like...
same reason
I don't know.
that we're getting Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
You need powerful women in TV.
But she is in the comics, right? Is that what she is in the comics?
Yeah.
In the comics, I'm just reading this. She's a lawyer, and what's her name? Jennifer Walters is a lawyer who, after an injury, received an emergency blood transfusion from her cousin Bruce Banner and acquired a milder version of his Hulk condition. As such, Walters becomes a large, powerful green.
Talk about sharing needles.
However, unlike Banner, she still largely retains her personality. In particular, she retains the majority of her intelligence and emotional control. Although, like Hulk, she is still susceptible to outbursts of anger and becomes much stronger when enraged. In later series, her transformation is permanent, and she often breaks the fourth wall for humorous effect and running gags, which is why this is going to be a legal comedy and not like their other shows.
All right, well, my first question is... comic book writers. I love this. No, I love it's always like Kara Zor-El, and Kal-El. Who's the stronger one? It's actually Kara.
Yeah.
No, it's like she actually always beats Superman if they ever like went head to head. She just doesn't know how to do it. And then I think you just said that she's stronger than Hulk when mad. Like, that's cool. Like, that's dope. Like, that's gonna be a sick scene.
Yeah. And she has the advantage of keeping her intelligence when she transforms, unlike
exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's dope. Like, but yeah, I went down a deep Reddit hole and found like one of the CGI people who work for the company was just like every time they went back with like remakes, it was like make her smaller, make her smaller, make her smaller.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. So it was. I mean,
That's
I don't know what you're going. I don't know what you're going with for. Yeah, it's like. Also, just like the biker shorts, like the half shorts down the thigh, like it's not a good look for her if you're gonna do that. Like, we get it that Hulk like rips through his stuff, but like
except his pants.
Except his pants, yeah.
Except his pants,
Except his pants. Do your calf raises, kids.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look good. Like she just looks like she looks like a Secret Invasion. She looks like a what? A Skrull.
Oh, the Skrull, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she kind of looks like a Skrull. But I'm excited to see like what the thing Abomination does.
Oh, Tim Roth is back. Tim Roth is coming back as that character. Yeah.
Yep.
That should be interesting.
So
I love Tim Roth, so whatever he's in, I'm into it.
And we get more Mark Ruffalo, which I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm cool. I was actually when I saw the trailer, I was a little bit interested to see that his character is like the supporting role. So I'm kind of excited to see that he's gonna retake that mantle.
Yeah, my only thing is with these Marvel series, they better like do something later on. Like Moon Knight, like has been just like confirmed. Like nothing else. Like that was it. Like maybe we'll use him down the line. Like if you're gonna do it, like give me some connection. Why did
they change the advertising at the last minute to say season finale instead of series finale? Like on all their social media, because usually like if that was like a one and done, they would just say like WandaVision said series finale, so we knew that is not getting another.
Oh, they changed
season.
It.
They changed it at the last minute, but then Oscar Isaac said that according to him, it was just a one and done limited series. But they did change the wording from series to season on all their social media, like right before the finale aired.
Well, I guess they're just leaving the door open, but they
want to just have the option later down the line.
Probably.
And speaking of series, they fucking approved Daredevil with Charlie Cox, baby. Yeah,
they did. So when this story first broke, they weren't quite clear of like are you bringing everyone back? Is this going to be just a continuation of the Netflix show, or is it just a new thing? Um, they still like Disney still hasn't like completely confirmed it, but everyone in the know says that they're going to use the same people. Um, and because Disney Plus now has like kind of disclaimers attached to their more like adult driven shows, I don't think they're gonna change the tone of the show either. My only concern is that the writers they got created like Covert Affairs and some other random NBC show that got canceled.
Interesting.
So, Covert
Yeah,
Affairs,
like some.
Covert Affairs was on for a while, but it wasn't like it's not like a
But
groundbreaking
it's an
series.
NBC primetime show. Like that's not necessarily the kind of style that you're looking for.
Yeah, so that was my only concern. But I am happy that Charlie Cox will still get to play Daredevil on series, and of course Vincent D'Onofrio will probably be back as Kingpin, and whoever else wants to kind of join. Whoever else wants to join the fun. Does Rosario Dawson want 2 jobs because she can also be on this and do her Star Wars series if she wants as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just exciting for fans that are really like, okay, are you brought all these shows to Disney Plus after you got them back from Netflix. What are you going to do with these characters? And now that they kind of have this in motion, now everyone's like, okay, like what about Jessica Jones? Like what about Luke Cage? No one is saying anything about Iron Fist, but the rest of them,
Yeah, that was a flop.
the rest of them, yes, they are curious about. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited that they're doing it, and I'm trusting now since they do have the disclaimers up that they won't have them like sugarcoat what the show actually is.
Well, I hope they actually don't use the rest of the characters, like because Charlie Cox was in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Like, you can't make me believe that, like Karen Page, whatever the actress's name is, like is in this one, and like Foggy Nelson is this one. You got at least just change the actual actors, please. Because you can't say that Netflix...
You don't want to keep the same people.
No, I don't know. I think that if they're gonna bring back Jessica Jones, like and Luke Cage, like you gotta keep the same people.
No, the main character totally fine. Like,
well, why not keep why not keep the supporting characters too? Though, like, I mean, they are we saying that like the main people exist?
It's an off argument because I'm saying give me a different interpretation, but I am saying give me a different interpretation because the writers are different. It's a different storyline. It should start from scratch. Like, all we know about Charlie Cox in the MCU is that he's a really good lawyer.
So you want them to start completely over? You don't want them to like
if
continue
you're going to, no, yeah, because his storyline with that Kingpin in season 3 is over. Like, that's done. Like, also, he didn't have superhuman strength. He didn't look anything like the one he did in Hawkeye. So I think they're gonna do that because we never saw Kingpin in the back office that he was in Hawkeye. So I think if they break continuation from storyline, yes, keep the characters from the previous, fine. But if it's not, give me new characters because I don't want to. It's just the Netflix shows are so good, especially Daredevil season 3. It ranks in top 5 of seasons of television for me.
If you're those other actors and you don't get that phone call, are you like devastated?
Yeah, pissed, man.
You're missing out on a bag for sure.
We called like Charlie's like, did you guys get the call? Like, oh no, okay, oh
no,
oops, sorry. But yeah, I'm excited like they're doing it though, and I'm glad that like of all the people, I'm happy that is like that stuck it out and like was like, I hope I get to play the character again. Like, I love playing the character. Like, Charlie Cox has talked so just so warmly about the experience of making Daredevil, and when it was over, he was sad that it was over, and he kind of held out hope somehow that he would still be able to play the character. And like, I don't know, patience pays off. And Kevin Feige honestly kind of saw the popularity of the Netflix shows and was like, all right, there's certain aspects of these that once we get these rights back, we need to keep. And I think that's good that he kind of saw that as well and didn't completely go like, okay, we're just going to redo everything and recast the main characters. And like, he knows what works with fans, and that's it's good that he kept them. And I hope he does so with like Kristen Ritter if they do something with Jessica Jones, Mike Coulter if they do something with Luke Cage. I'm fine with them sticking around too. Like Iron Fist not so much.
Why are we glazing over why are we glazing over the Punisher in this one? Like,
and the Punisher. I always forget about the Punisher because
the Punisher.
Me too.
Punisher season 1 was epic, bro.
And John Bernthal said that he would love to play the part again. He is holding out
And
the.
give me more John Bernthal. Give me more John Bernthal.
If you don't listen to his podcast, listen to it. It's fucking dope.
Yeah,
What's
basically So basically, if you're anyone but Finn Jones, you're probably going to come back and have a job.
Yeah, at least hopefully.
No. I think the writers from Iron Fist see you fucking later.
Yeah,
I didn't like him. I mean, I thought he was. I tolerated him on the Defenders, but I think it's because he was surrounded by so much talent that he kind of was like, all right,
that was the
cool.
writing.
His mediocrity just kind of rubbed off.
That was the writing. It was 100% the writing.
Some of his acting choices on Iron Fist were very questionable. And then I also heard that like one of the fight choreographers said that he barely wanted to do fight training, that he never really wanted to try to like do all the stuff. And
what?
Why
not?
Yeah, and like he didn't really come prepared. He said the girl Jessica Henwick that she was always prepared and always wanted to throw down, but Finn Jones was, like I said, did the bare minimum when it came to like doing the fight training. So it's like, you know, if you can find someone better, I mean, I know you said the writing was the issue too, but I also think that he just wasn't entirely right for that part either.
He wasn't invested.
Not at all. And but I don't know, Jack
John
feels
Bernthal's a Punisher.
Because usually I just want John Bernthal back.
Yeah.
But yeah. I forgot to mention that She-Hulk Attorney at Law premieres on Disney Plus August 17th, 2022. For those who are interested in checking that out.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm a sheep. I'm a herdable sheep. Disney just.
I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Along the way with a shepherd and border collie.
Yeah, I am curious about the comedy angle, right? Because like, them not doing something so serious and it just being a straight comedy. I am kind of curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, because it's like it's going to be action too. So it's Marvel, so you're going to have some action, but I just hope that they have some sort of better editing and like CGI, I guess you could say, than Moon Knight. I thought there's some great elements. There's some great elements to that, but it's like I'll even just say the first episode when the truck and like all those logs and stuff are falling down the mountain, like that it looks bad, and I don't think it looks very like succinct. And so I hope they kind of have a little bit of a better editing team, or at least I just hope they just kind of learn from that, because to me it was very apparent that was not where they were spending their budget.
Yeah.
But that being said, I thought Moon Knight was great. Yeah, we haven't talked about Moon Knight at all in this podcast.
There's just so much stuff.
I know.
To me, it's just like it's okay.
I will give mad kudos to Oscar Isaac, because I thought his performance throughout that show was amazing.
Dude, if you want to see him funny, listen to his monologue in the SNL where he's like, I'm a Puerto Rican and Cuban guy who can play a white Jewish dude,
yeah,
Arabian prince.
I heard that.
An English guy, like you can just like that was so funny. But yeah, no, really good, like cool character. Should be used more. But yeah, Owen's right. Bad CGI.
How I don't know much about that character, so how could they use him in the greater MCU? Like,
he's part of like that whole Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, like kind of Defenders. Like he has like a roundup with them, and even Spider-Man is in that too. So it's like he kind of has like he's part of the crew. But I mean, Jack knows more about it than I do. I'm not 100% certain, but I know that he is a part of like one of those bigger sort of not Justice League, but superhero.
You're completely right. It's kind of like the Dark Defenders or the Dark Avengers. You know, like. You have to remember, like, when these characters are created, everyone just used New York City as, like, their home base. Like, no one picked Philly for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they all eventually, like, all interacting. But, like, he definitely would be, like, a great balance to, like, if they've ever made a Punisher series where, like, they have this just super angry Punisher, but then, like, all of a sudden he's talking to freaking Steven. but then it's to Mark
Yeah.
to Steven, or
That
like
would be good.
because you can play on that because like he's actually got 3
Banter.
personalities. But yeah, no, he's kind of like just in that what Owen was saying, like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage kind of thing. But since he's in London, you can change it. But yeah, no, I just think he should be
Anytime I
because
see
you
Luke Cage, I
history.
automatically think of Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat, and I'm always like, I
It's
really want them to tie
completely
that in.
completely different. That'd be an interesting way. That'd be an interesting way to bring them back into that. Then, if he is associated with them, like, because like I guess what I'm making the mistake of doing is that I keep thinking about these characters being used in the movies, and they don't really have to be. They could just be used across like different shows now, instead of just also tying them into like the films. I didn't even think about like that.
Especially for Moon Knight, because of his personalities, it could literally be like a heist type of thing. And guess what's stolen? An Egyptian artifact. And it's a classic scene where it's like I can write it down right for you right now. It's they're talking yada yada. All of a sudden they're like, camera turns to the Punisher and he just like rolls his eye. He goes, I know a guy who can tell us about Egyptian stuff, and it's fucking Mark's, Steven, and you're just like, oh, hey, how's it going there, mate? Good to see you.
Some good stolen.
Or Mark, who are you here for? It was just, like, it'd be very funny to see. It's like, perfect. All right, then boom, later. But now everyone's like, we want to see Moon Knight more. So I'm excited to see what you do. But yeah, end Moon Knight conversation.
So this last bit of news before we jump into the Tom Cruise thing, I just wanted to mention it because I feel like Jack might have something to say about it. When we were talking about the shows in the CW that canceled all the DC shows, I said that the CW was high on one particular pilot, and it was for Gotham Knights. They did pick it up to series for next season.
Really?
I don't know anything about Gotham Knights. I will just read the synopsis that's a CW release that says, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's death, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for the murder and clear their names. I don't know anything else about Gotham Knights, but apparently everyone... The synopsis does sound cool, but like it's also the CW, and sometimes people are like, the CW. But then you have to remember, like Arrow was really good at one point. The Flash was good at one point as well. So it's just because it's a CW doesn't mean they're gonna like sugarcoat it and make it just about pretty faces. I think that's the kind of argument that some comic book fans have against shows like this.
That's their past.
Yeah, as someone who punishes themselves through like 24 episodes on Netflix of like The Flash and Legend of Tomorrow, I don't really have an issue with the CW. I think it's more like the formula for network TV where like it's 24 episodes in a season, bro. At some point, like I've watched it so long that now I'm not even watching. I know the 14th episode has nothing to do with the storyline. Like I just skipped that one because there's so much in between. Like shorten that shit down. But I thought it was a very odd choice to do Gotham Knights because there's a video game being brought out with Gotham Knights. And
it'll be a good little tie-in then, right?
No, because it's like
it's two different.
It's with Nightwing, it's with Batgirl, it's with Tim Drake, it's with like
with the characters that they could actually use, because I don't think that like this they can like really use some of these characters.
So CW is using like random people that like probably like whatever. And like the video game is using the Court of Owls, so that's like gonna be dope, and that's just delayed for whatever reasons. But I think it's because of this CW thing. But good, if it got a second season already, I can't be shocked if it's good. I'll watch it, but like, it's just
it getting picked up to series is a big deal because there was a lot of
the draw cannot be Gotham City again or Batman. He's not even in it. He's dead. So like, you got to give me like a good villain or something along that lines.
I'm guessing the Joker pops up somewhere or some form of him.
The Joker. No, they have the Trickster.
The Trickster.
Well, actually, he's played by Mark Hamill.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He literally is the Joker. They just call him the Trickster because the Joker is being used in like two other entities.
Too many things. The interesting thing about them picking this up to series, though, is that a lot of people thought that the CW is kind of getting out of the superhero business as they canceled so many shows, and like they only have Superman and Lois and the Flash on right now. The Flash is likely ending after next season. That's like the big rumor because Grant Gustin only signed on for a certain amount of episodes, and that kind of gives the indication that it's going to be like a farewell. I think now they said moving forward with some of the superhero shows, there's going to be less trying to tie it to the Arrowverse and just letting them be their own thing because there's not much of an Arrowverse anymore, so it's all kind
Yeah.
of, and Supergirl's gone, Legends of Tomorrow is gone, Batwoman's gone. So
I'm glad
now
they can
there's
just
no
kind of do their own. Yeah, I think they should be able to just do their own thing.
right. And, Superman,
Batwoman was an absolute train wreck. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
and Superman and Lois actually gets really good reviews, and like they said, the best thing that show does is that it is its own thing, and it's not trying to be tied into this
Trying to
greater
be too much.
right. And that has to be the plan moving forward because like I think we talked about how the CW is like also in the midst of a possible like sell, so they have to determine like what shows they're going to keep and what shows have deals with like certain entities like Netflix or HBO Max. Like there's all this different kind of decision making that is going into, if they do sell it, what will this new company want to keep, and they have to like basically show the benefits of keeping what shows they have on their lineup to this new entity that they're going to be sold to. So that's why a lot of their other shows didn't make the cut, and some of these shows did.
Gotcha.
That's why we're getting that Supernatural spinoff, because there's like there's a brand behind that, and they can sell that. I think that's why we got Gotham Knights, and
starting to play to their strengths.
Yeah, which is very smart. So yeah, that's gonna be it for news. I think.
Yeah, Gaius. But what I want to talk to about before we get into Tom Cruise is I don't know if you guys have got a chance to see it yet. It just came out, but I just watched season 3 of Love, Death, and Robots, and it is amazing. It is so good. I'm telling you, David Fincher directed 2 episodes.
Oh wait, I should be watching it then.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy, man. It's
big David Fincher guy.
And it's it's one of those things where, I mean, they literally take the best animators in the world and they all have these individual stories that they want to tell. Some of them are hit or miss, but at the same, like the majority of them are just these crazy, like sci-fi out there, awesome stories. And Jack, I think you would fucking love it. It's just one of these things that I have continued to revisit. And season 3 came out. David Fincher directed this episode where they're on a ship and like some shit goes down. I'm telling you, you guys really got to. If you haven't seen it yet, you really should see it. It's really good. And each episode is only like the longest one. I think is maybe 20 minutes. So it's like some of them are shorter than others. And so you can watch. I just watched the whole season in like a couple hours, like maybe less than that. So it's like it's a quick watch, and all of the stories are different. And I think that you guys would really enjoy it. So if you haven't gotten a chance to see it, you should put that on your list.
It definitely floated on my queue for a while.
It's really good. Start with season 1.
Jack, you watched something the weekend, right?
Yes, I did. The Northman, which I was like talking up a while back, like I think a couple episodes ago. Trash. Oh my god.
Oh man.
So overhyped, my guys. I can't even begin to tell you, dude. It was like some cool performances. Overall, just like a really too much magical horror and like Viking realism, and then like the fight scenes were like they literally looked like they were in just like slow motion. Like there was nothing.
I saw that in the trailer. The trailer looked like it was bad action.
Dude, no, like it literally is like Skarsgård is like just absolutely shredded in a wolf, like fucking wolf head, awesome thing, and he's just like literally walking around just like bah. And then, like, I'm like, okay, it's pretty amazing, but, like, he's literally moving a mile an hour. Like, how does a guy on a horse not see this coming?
Yeah.
The story is just like, a lot of just weird direct cinematography choices. It was dope to look at. It was visually cool, but, like, just...
Yeah, he's a really good visual director.
It wasn't worth like the 210 I watched it for. So
and also like all the build up and hype around from social media and stuff.
No, it was like plotted it like fucking Next Gladiator. Like
that digital copy is like chilling. It's like chilling. I want to watch it, but I also don't have I don't know if I want to invest the time in watching it. I will say too, like the social media thing, I can attest to, because even the people at Joe Blow, the guys who saw it early at the premiere, loved it, and then everyone was just talking about on Twitter how much they loved it. And then like I was telling Owen, like, you know, when it opened and it didn't open that well, I was like, I guess like there's that small pocket of praise from people that see stuff early and
Yeah.
are like, oh, I love the movie because they love the director because, you know, this is the guy that directed The Witch and The Lighthouse. And but yeah, I kind of forget outside of that pocket of people that it's probably not really getting much of a response from everyone else.
Not
Um,
necessarily for the larger audience.
Right. So I was still completely shocked that Focus Features gave him that much money to make that. It's between 70 to 90 million dollars to make that. None of his movies have come close to grossing that at all. And I mean, on the plus side, it's like good on them for like backing a filmmaker that wants to try something original and new. But on the other hand, it's like, what has he done to prove to you that you can invest that much money into him and you're
Mm-hmm.
going to make it back? Um, but yeah, because it definitely didn't do well here. I think it made like $30 million here so far.
Well,
And
there's one thing I'd like to point out. I think we've actually touched on it like 3 times today, in this episode alone. Yes, a lot of the directors have like stinkers, but like a director goes into a meeting selling himself on the idea. Like Zack Snyder, I mean, again, I'm going back to Zack Snyder, but Zack Snyder did like nothing before Dawn of the Dead. He had to pitch that. His next movies were like Warner Brothers that gave him the keys to the castle. So if a director can sell somebody on like a huge like an idea, I think that they already committed the money to it, to money to the idea, not to like necessarily the director. It's like, yeah, we know you've made like really bad comedy movies in the past, but apparently you really like Denis Villeneuve, like didn't really know about him, did like smaller movies. All of a sudden he's fucking doing Blade Runner and Dune 1 and 2. So just to like make sure like
I'm just imagining him walking into the
on them
pitch.
for bad movies, but like they're visionaries in their own right too. So
I'm
just
imagining him walking into the pitch meeting and being like, "All right, guys, picture this: Alexander Skarsgård with 1% body fat.
they're like,
That's
done.
it.
It's
That's
another
got it."
Anya Joy Taylor, butt naked.
Yeah, exactly.
Take out your other checkbook.
Yeah, we're
That's
gonna
all.
leave the number. We're gonna leave it a blank check. So just spend however much you want.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's going to cost about
So-
$70 million. Like you run a hard bargain, but 1% body fat, but 1% body fat on
1%
Alexander
body fat.
Skarsgård
Can't argue with that.
at all. You know what? Since you guys brought up something that you guys watched, I actually watched a movie for Joe Blow called Emergency that's going to be on Amazon on May 27th. And at first, because it was just an Amazon original, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be any good. But then I saw that it had like a 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes from the early reviews it's gotten. And basically the movie, it's a comedy, but the overall like story, there's like this kind of hinge of seriousness in it. So it's about these black college students who come back to their dorm to find a white girl like drunk and passed out in their dorm. And then like and then hilarity ensues from there. It kind of plays on the like what assumptions like people are making about like race and like because her sister ends up tracking her down and assumes that they're doing bad things to her because they're black, and they don't want to call the cops and say that they found her because they're black. They're likely to blame for what happened to her.
Interesting.
So I thought it was just really
That's
good.
a little
and,
bit of a conundrum that I can never.
yeah,
really
it was really funny, and it was surprisingly good. I think it's hard to kind of make something that serious and also make it funny. So
Yeah.
if you guys choose to check that out on Amazon on May 27th, it'll be out for everyone to see. I just thought it was really good.
And
Nice.
last thing about the things we watch. If you're not watching We Own the City on HBO Max, it comes out on Mondays with Bernthal. It's awesome.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's awesome.
So with Top Gun Maverick coming out on Friday, we used to do this kind of like Back to the Blockbuster proof thing for certain actors about their body of work. Since this actor has a huge body of work, we're going to change it up a little bit. But we thought this was like a good thing. We're going to do like a little snake draft thing for Tom Cruise, who is kind of like, it's interesting because this movie, I think, getting delayed, even though I was like bummed out that it got delayed so much, I think this is coming out at the right time. And I think the wait for Top Gun Maverick made because the reviews are excellent. I saw it already a week or
I
so
can't
ago.
wait to see it. Honestly.
I'm pumped.
It's so good. Like it has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes already. I think Tom Cruise has had ebbs and flows as a personality and an actor. I think just because there's like Tom Cruise, the movie star, and then there's Tom Cruise, Scientologist, and then Tom Cruise who has weird marriages. So there's that part of him
Yeah.
too. But as a pure entertainer, I think that he has mostly satisfied all of us throughout his career. Going back to like Risky Business and Top Gun and like all the way through
I
more
feel like
serious
his
stuff.
success has actually kind of been like he makes such good movies where like, you know what, it's fine. Just be a Scientologist, but keep making us good movies.
The only thing that drives me nuts about Tom Cruise, and all the short kings out there will revel in this. The motherfucker is only 5'7", and he's like one of the greatest action stars of all time. The dude is 5'7".
Okay. Also, if you ever look at a picture of Tom Cruise, his smile is actually not centered, and you'll never be able to look at him ever again the same. So basically, instead of his two front teeth being in the middle of his nose, it's slightly shifted left, so just one big like front tooth is like at center, and it bothers the hell out of me.
He's
Maybe that's
5'7".
You're still on the fact that he's 5'7".
Yes, he plays Jack Reacher, who in the book is 6'5". Motherfucker is 5'7".
You know, I will say this about Top Gun Maverick, and I'm surprised they didn't do much to kind of cover this up because I feel like in the past he might have. But in scenes he's in with Miles Teller, where they have to be like antagonistic towards each other, Miles Teller is clearly way taller. And
towering over him.
And there's times where he looks like Tom Cruise is like looking up at him, like to like kind of like engage with him. And I was just surprised they didn't try to cover it up. But like, good for him. Yeah, I know that was the argument with Jack Reacher. Like even if you like that first movie, everyone was like, well, he's not the way the character is described in the books at all. That was just Tom Cruise flexing. I mean, that was Tom Cruise being like, I want to make this movie, and Paramount being like, okay, whatever.
And if you want to see a real Jack Reacher, you go watch the one on Prime with Alan Richardson. That's fucking real. That's a great show.
That's the real. That's what everyone says. Like, he is built for the part and perfect for the role. Even though I don't mind Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher. At least the first one. The second one I didn't like, but the first one was fine.
Yeah.
Just a quick little like stuff. He has received 3 Golden Globe Awards, and 3 Academy Award nominations. He's never won an Oscar, which I think is crazy that he hasn't won one across his career. His films have grossed over $4 billion in North America and $10.1 billion worldwide, making him one of the highest grossing box office stars of all time.
He's worth $600 million.
Yeah, on top of all of that.
Let's go with, I'd say he got nommed for A Few Good Men, Jerry Maguire, and Vanilla Sky.
Cocktail.
You got one of them. You got Jerry Maguire.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. That was the one I was closest on. All the other two.
It was Born on the 4th of July and Magnolia for Best Supporting Actor. And he should have won for that because he's great in Magnolia. Yeah. And then there's like some films that he was in, like, you know, he's in Rain Man. Dustin Hoffman, of course, got an Oscar. He didn't get nominated for Rain Man at all. There's certain things that he's in that I'm surprised that he didn't get more acknowledgement for. Like, if the Academy was feeling silly when like Interview with the Vampire came out, I think he was excellent in that too. But they were never going to.
Had no business being as good as it was.
And he was fucking great in it. He was so great, in fact, that when Anne Rice, when he got cast, she publicly shamed them for casting him. They were like, this is not who I pictured Lestat to be, blah, 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 blah. And then she saw the movie and wrote like an open public apology to him saying that she was wrong. So like, that's how good he was in that particular movie. But yeah, are you guys surprised that he doesn't have one, the Academy Award?
I mean, he's an action star. I think I
guess now he is. Yeah.
I feel like most of his earlier stuff was when he had the chance to do it. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't win for even something like A Few Good Men, or even get nominated by that. But I think most of his films now are not what you would necessarily say like critically acclaimed. They're moneymakers and they're action packed, but they're not necessarily like. You're not going to get a Joaquin Phoenix role out of Tom Cruise.
That's true. I mean, I think I was going to say the last thing that he really acted in, where he gave a really great performance. Actually, he does really good in Top Gun Maverick. When you see it, there's some emotional stuff in there. But I would say Collateral was probably the last time that he was like like that known for his like acting in that particular movie. He was really good in that, and he played like a villain in that too. I know he did that with Lestat, but he doesn't really play villains often. So I thought that was the last time that he's actually put in like some effort rather than just kind of like going back into the well of playing Ethan Hunt across different movies. Because I feel like in his action movies, he feels like a variation of Ethan Hunt, and most of the stuff he does lately.
His progression was very weird because, like, in the '90s, he was doing a lot of like movies, and then he definitely like it's shocked because it's like him, The Rock, and maybe you can argue Mark Wahlberg, like those few actors that like say like I want to do this, and it happens, like.
Yeah.
But like I can understand for The Rock doing because like, he knows his lane, does action movies for China and the rest of the world, and
for China,
and Skyscraper.
Skyscraper.
Yeah, that did well. I think that did well. I did well in China. Yeah,
that's exactly my fucking point. But so can Tom. But Tom Cruise can do that too. I'm just kind of like, how did that happen? Because like I can't. Like I'm thinking like A Few Good Men, Jerry Maguire. Or like 5 unbelievable movies. Everyone knows those movies. Like everyone knows You Can't Handle the Truth. I Want the Truth. And everyone knows Show Me the Money. But those roles I wouldn't say are transcendent into like I am now a mega influencer in the industry itself. True. Correct. Yeah. So just find that wild.
That's an interesting progression.
Yeah, like I find that progression very wild.
What he had though, he was one of the like we were talking about his stuff in the '90s. A lot of his movies, beginning with like Top Gun, Color of Money, Rain Man, he rarely had a flop until like the early 2000s. Like in the 90s, like all of his movies did extremely well. Like he was like a very commercially successful actor. You have to like really look for like a flop, and it doesn't really happen until it starts to happen after the whole like I'm Mary Katie Holmes and I'm jumping on Oprah's couch. Like there was a lot of weird stuff in that time period. But even then, like even some of his movies that started to make less money, they were still successful worldwide. He's always been like a worldwide box office star. War of the Worlds did well here. It also did well overseas. Night and Day might look like it didn't do that well here, but it did well overseas. Even something like the fact that he could open something like Vanilla Sky, which is like a weird. I love Vanilla Sky, but it's a weird movie, and that made over $100 million in the States, and that doesn't seem like a movie that should make that much. And that's just like I think the power of him at that time.
You got to be 5'8" to win an Oscar.
Did you just look it up?
No, I have no idea. I was just saying he's too short.
I googled it. 5'8" to win an Oscar. All right, so what we're gonna do, Jack? Why don't you introduce how we're gonna do this snake draft with our good old buddy Tom Cruise, who's turning 60 on July 3rd, by the way.
Oh my god!
And he's still making like these insane action movies and being like, I want to do this all myself. Like,
what a badass! That's so badass.
I mean, that's awesome. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But yes, as my first official order of business, we are adding. We'll figure out a better name for this down the line, but we're going to do another snake draft of Tom Cruise characters that you'd want to have a beer with. So the rules are simple. It's 1, 2, 3, pick an order, and then third gets to go twice, and then go down. We do it 4 times. You get to pick 4 characters. Characters cannot be doubled. So once it's off the board, it's off the board. And you can just debate, but it's a good time, and I think we did it. What was it when we do the snake draft with last?
We did it with stoner movies.
Stoner movies.
And we were enraged.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna keep this going. Yeah, I mean, especially with Tom Cruise, I have some. I'm very interested to see what y'all pick.
I'm like, would I want to have a beer with some of these people, or
no? It could be for any. It could be for any reason. It's not like if you want to just have a good I want to see how people look at Vanilla Sky, his character type deal. However you want to, whatever reason it is that you want to have this person to be sitting next to you having a beer, choose it. So, Gaius, since you are the head honcho, El Hombre, you're number 1. Owen, number 2, and I'll head up the back with number 3, and we'll
You
just
just want to pick twice.
I
mean, we'll change it up if we want to. So yeah, fine. Next
No,
episode,
I'm kidding.
we'll change it around.
I'm kidding.
so
We'll
so
change it
I
around.
go so I go first with like one pick, and then it goes.
Owen goes,
Yeah.
but yeah, like you can obviously give an explanation of like why you want to do it. So why you want to pick this person. So any of the characters he's ever played. So if he said a line, it counts.
All right. I'm gonna go first just because I mentioned the movie already, and I think it's great. I'm gonna go with his character Vincent in Collateral, just because I think that that character was a badass, and it's interesting that Jamie Foxx got the Oscar nomination in that movie. He got nominated for that the same year he got nominated for Ray, but I think Tom Cruise steals that movie without really saying much. Like it's a pretty like kind of silent but deadly kind of character, and I don't know if you guys have watched that movie recently, but like it still holds
It's been
up
a while.
it holds up very well.
Just want to let everybody know, if you haven't seen Collateral, Gaius's first pick was a Tom Cruise with a fantastic head of spiked hair and was a contract killer.
Silver Fox.
Gaius is coming in real fucking hot.
Just in case,
with
an assassin. Just in case I need protection while going out. We got Vincent.
This is the Tom Cruise that doesn't face the door, doesn't let the back of his back face the door ever.
Yep. This is. I think you need him in your corner. And
all right,
I'll be more than
assassin.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, for my first pick, and the reason that I'm picking this first is because I don't want anyone to steal this down the road. And
don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
I know you know who I'm gonna pick.
I know he's doing
Les Grossman.
You son of a bitch!
I knew he was gonna. That's why I didn't do it. That's why I didn't do it, because I was like, I don't want to piss anyone off early.
Oh, dude, it's literally the best character ever. And Gaius, you and I were talking about this yesterday, actually, and the fact that he ad-libbed a lot of his lines, wanted to have like just massive arms and hands, and just like a fat Tom Cruise. Like people, when Jenny and I watched it, she had no idea that was even Tom Cruise. And
dude,
like
even his hands are prosthetics.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting too. Like the best story I've heard like is when Ben Stiller talks about how like Tom Cruise came up with like the majority of all that on his own. Like there was very little direction for him. It was just like Tom Cruise was like, I want to do this. He's going to say this, and it just made me like Tom Cruise even more. That he kind of has this like comedic like bone in his arsenal. Like that he doesn't really like use.
Dude, it came out of nowhere. Him telling a terrorist leader group to stand back and go fuck your own face. Like hearing Tom Cruise curse like that is just there's really nothing like that.
That scene, anytime it comes on like my Instagram, it's just one of the funniest things. And it's just like, oh, who is this? This is Flaming Dragon. Oh, Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. Listen here.
So good,
and then
dude.
the best thing is too, in the background you have Matthew McConaughey just like staring off like, what did I just watch? Like,
yeah,
what
he walked into his thing trying to be like, my actor needs TiVo, and he goes and he's like, wow, I got myself into a can of worms.
Yeah, it's so good. And like we mentioned this yesterday when we were out because we were talking about the movie. Like when that movie came out, there was a lot of for your consideration ads for him to get an Oscar nomination for it, because almost everyone that reviewed it thought he was so good in it. Like they were like, for a lot of people, he was the highlight of it. And it actually came at a good time for him, because this is when he was still kind of like, oh, Tom Cruise is weird, and like it kind of came at a time where like he kind of needed it, and like it really kind of like made people stop talking about like some of the other shit he was doing and just focus on like the work he was doing, which was, I know he needed that at the time. I think it was a pretty fucking perfect performance. The reason I didn't pick it first because I didn't want to piss off. I knew Jack would pick it, so I didn't want to piss you off first. So I'm glad I did do that, and I let Owen do it. So
all right, I had to do it.
All right, fine. Well, now I'm just gonna go with a super boring prick, but fucking give me.
He's like from far and away,
Maverick, baby.
Which one, Jack?
Give me the captain.
Maverick from Top Gun.
Me Mitchell. Huh?
That's a good one.
Okay.
I mean, Captain Pete Mitchell, guy plays volleyball in jean shorts. That's hard to do. Okay,
That's pretty badass.
That's pretty freaking hard to do. All
It's
right.
not an easy. It's not an easy task.
I mean,
It's-
he flew all those planes, didn't he?
Yeah. Also, like Tom Cruise legit like flew all those planes. Like anytime like they had like the in cockpit shots, like he flies those planes.
He made
It's just
and
a
the new one.
classic
And the
pick.
new one, he made Cass go through all that training too, which
As he
That's
should have.
fucking awesome.
As he should.
I mean, I'm a little shocked that wasn't the first one off the board, seeing as this is like a Top Gun episode. But I'm real happy that it came to me, because my guy is gonna pick up all the ladies just by looking at him with his aviator shades. So
yeah, that's true.
That's
Like
a
I was thinking,
like you can't stop that force.
that was true.
No.
Like I was thinking,
He
I don't want
made
to fly.
aviators cool.
I don't want to fly with a guy, but we can go to the bar together. Like he'd be good to go out with for sure.
Dude.
Yeah.
Because you know he's gonna bring
And he-
Goose along, and you put Goose on the piano, we got ourselves a goddamn
over.
party.
And yeah,
Yeah.
you could burst in the song with your friends, like fucking.
Exactly.
loving feeling, like,
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
actually a
Pete-
solid choice.
Pete Maverick knows how to party, fly, and wear aviators.
Mm-hmm.
So easy pick.
No one does it better.
No one does.
wears it. No one wears aviators better than
No one
Maverick.
does it better. All right, and for my second pick, I'm gonna go with Tom Cruise as Ray Ferrier in War of the Worlds.
Okay. Yeah. Good choice.
So,
Good
what's
choice,
you
man.
you want to hang out with Dakota Fanning or like why?
No, dude, it's it's a very slept on movie, and it's for me, it's not quite Shawshankable for me yet, but it's close.
No.
Like I might put it on for a couple scenes or a couple commercials, but like I don't know. Ray Fair, great dad. Really just wanted to just be a good dad. I'm surprised Owen didn't pick him too for this exact reason. Just
Well,
really
for being a
trying-
good dad.
He wants to be a
just
good dad.
just trying to just work as hard as
He's just
possible to get
He's
back to his kids.
just trying to get by.
Just trying to get back to his kids. But yeah, no, I just think that War of the Worlds is a slept on movie.
It
It's
made
like-
money.
It made a lot of money. What was it? J.J. Abrams produced it.
No, Steven Spielberg directed it.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Really original storyline. So I slept on movie, and I just think that was a great character.
Yeah, I remember
wild
liking
scene,
it.
like what? Yeah,
I
like
do own it on this fine like media wall here. It's somewhere.
Yeah.
on Blu-ray.
I need to watch that one again. It's been a minute for me since I've seen that one.
Yeah, man. It's so yeah, that's mine. So I got
Nice.
Pete Mitchell and Ray Ferrier as my guys in the bar so far. So I basically have a guy who is the life of the party,
Mike can kill all your guys
and the guy who basically is not the life of the party.
though. My guy can kill all your guys so far.
And so far, I
you're
have
up
an asshole executive. My second pick is going to be honestly, it's just one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. But I mean, I actually forgot the character's name because they just call him Colonel, but it's Lieutenant Colonel Bill Cage from Edge of Tomorrow, and that's
a
what
good,
I'm.
That's a good choice.
That's
That's-
one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. I think that I actually remember seeing it. It was weird. I saw it in London with my dad and brother when we were there visiting and traveling a little bit. And like, I remember that movie theater screen was huge. And like, I was very, very blown away by how much I actually liked it. I thought that the CGI was really, really good. And also just like basically an action movie Groundhog Day, which was really cool. So, I
What a
really enjoyed that,
wild
and
move.
I thought his character I liked his character because he kind of fell in love with Emily Blunt, but he tries to save her, but he's seen her die like millions of
So many
times or
times.
whatever it is, and like always tries to save her, but there's always one part where he can't do it, and I don't know. It's just I love that movie. If it's on, I'll always sit down and watch it.
Oh, so are you putting it in your Shawshankables?
Yeah, I
for
put it in
me,
mine.
It's up there. It's up there for sure.
I think it's one of the
But
best
also-
sci-fi. I think it's one of the best sci-fi action movies to come out in like the last few years.
Oh,
it's
by
really
far.
smart. It's really smart and like it's really nonstop action too. Like once it gets started, it never kind of lets up. And Tom Cruise
Yeah.
and Emily Blunt are really good at it together, I thought too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all I gotta really say is what a wild move. You and your dad seeing a movie on vacation, but neither here
In
nor
London.
there.
I don't know. It's Tom Cruise, bro. If Tom Cruise is in theaters, you got to go see him.
Even
In
if I'm
London?
in London. It must be done.
I mean, whatever.
I don't know.
But yeah, no. Good movie. I like Emily Blunt a lot in it. Good character too by Tom Cruise's standards, because it doesn't matter if he's 5'7" or not. For sure.
All right, so is it me?
Yeah,
It's you, Gas.
So
You
I
get
just
two.
I get 2. Oh, so it's my last 2.
You get 2. We're going back around.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Joel Godson from Risky Business. If we're talking about people that like to
that was a good one. Good one.
that like to party, because he likes to party, and if you're feeling like you want to hook up with a prostitute, that option's there too.
Yeah.
I think this is a good, like, for a lot of people. I think, well, this was his big introduction into the business. Really, he had been in The Outsiders before this, or that same year. But this was like the movie that everyone was like, "Oh, Tom Cruise is going to be a big star." And another movie that still holds up. I watched it like a year ago, randomly, and it still holds up really well. And even for as young as he was when he did it, you kind of can see like all the kind of like nuances he has as an actor, and how they were going to grow throughout his career later on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like he'd be a good person to party with, because he could probably party with Maverick.
And the scene in his boxers is iconic, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
And,
we do have to give him props for giving us the easiest Halloween costume ever.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
even girls
and guys alike. It is the easiest thing to do. Literally, I think one of our friends, Allie, texted me. She's like, "Do you have a button-down shirt I can borrow?" And goes, "You're not doing risky business, are you?" She goes, "How'd you know?" It's like,
It's
why
the
else
easiest
are
thing you can
asking me
do.
for a male button-down?
Yeah, it's the easiest one, but it always hits though. Like, no one ever is like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" Like, it's always a good, like,
And everyone's like,
go-to
"Oh, risky
costume.
business."
It's a good go-to costume. Yeah, I agree. And I guess I'm gonna go the other choice. I'm gonna go with David Ames from Vanilla Sky, because he starts off as a prick, an egotistical prick, but there is a redemption arc, and he learns some things throughout the movie. It does take a car wreck and a lot of weird weird stuff with Cameron Diaz and Penelope Cruz for it to happen. But I actually like Vanilla Sky a lot. It's one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies in general. It is a remake of Aubrey Los Ojos, which also stars Penelope Cruz. A lot of people at the time it came out didn't love it, because they kind of marketed it as like a thriller a little bit, and then really focus on the more like kind of sci-fi elements in it. But yeah, it reunites him with his Jerry Maguire director, James Cameron. Not James Cameron, sorry. Cameron Crowe.
Sounds like James Cameron.
Cameron Crowe. And I don't know, it's still one of my favorite Tom Cruise movies. I think it's actually underrated on his filmography a bit.
Doesn't he have like half a face in that movie?
So he does. His face gets all fucked up after the accident. It's a weird movie to explain, because there's a lot that goes on in it. If you haven't seen it, it's best to kind of discover it on your own. But
so my question is to you now: are you drafting pre-car accident Vanilla Sky or
wait. Do I want David Ames like redemption arc, or do I want cocky? I can still go to his penthouse and have a cocktail, David Ames.
Yeah, exactly. Because like on one spectrum, your group is mysterious killer. Who is your second guy?
It was the risky business.
Risky business.
So yeah, you got a mysterious.
He sleeps with prostitutes.
you got a silent killer, a man in his boxers and Wayfarers, which is a good look, fantastic look, and then a man with half a face.
Not in the whole movie.
I mean,
interesting crowd.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you, man. You're gonna have some stories to tell at the end of that night for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild hangover night with those 3 versions of Tom Cruise.
What do you think the assassin drinks?
Oh, bourbon,
gin martinis.
Probably. I was gonna say martini too, but bourbon is
gin
actually
martinis.
not a bad guess.
Yeah.
Then we could drink those together, but yeah. Like, can I get an old fashioned
Uh,
instead, please?
Yeah, exactly. Owen, you're up.
All right, I'm going to choose for my last pick Roy Miller from Night and Day. I love that
Oh,
movie.
that movie's
I
good.
thought it was kind of a sleeper. I thought him and Cameron Diaz's chemistry was really good, and it's one of my favorite action comedies. I guess you could say that's not. It's pretty typical idea. I mean, he's basically just Ethan Hunt, but at the same time, like I really do like.
He's a little more
like the
funny
movie.
in that. He's a little more funny.
Yeah, he's a bit more
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
He's like a mix between Ethan Hunt and Jack Reacher in that movie.
Yeah, he's
And
funny.
they are
He's
very good.
definitely
They are
funny.
very good. They're very good in that movie together too.
Yeah, but I think the premise is awesome, and I do like all the action scenes, and then also the fact that like he puts her to sleep so he can take care of her and like travel around the world, and then she ends up doing the same thing to him at the end, and I really like that. I thought it was good.
Nice. Oh, good choices.
So Owen's table is Les Grossman, who is absolutely downing Diet Cokes and vodka straight up
Yeah,
simultaneously, not in the same glass because he likes his Diet Coke freshly cracked.
yeah.
And who's your second guy?
The guy from Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh,
Edge of
tomorrow. Yeah.
So this guy's seen some shit off world, so he's got the
Yep.
stories.
And he can
Definitely
repeat your day
battle
over and over again if you really want to relive
Yeah,
it.
he won't get a hangover because he just will wake up and he's fine.
scars. He's absolutely the rally king.
Yeah.
And
That's a
then
good table.
yeah, good table. And then Night and Day, you basically just got your really good contract
More contract.
savior, I guess. Contract savior, whatever you want to call him. Yeah.
So my contract killer would
table. You're definitely gonna
destroy.
have some good beers. Beers will be flowing down there.
Some good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
All
so.
right. And, all right. For my last one, I'm shocked that I'm really torn between two right now.
I know who you're gonna say though.
No, you don't. It's really hard right now.
He's like Nick
for me to
Morton from the
pick
Mummy.
this.
The Mummy.
Yeah. It's all right. All right. It's not. All right. For the sake of the conversation, if we're talking at the table, I need Jerry Maguire near me.
All right.
The guy.
That's fair.
The guy knows everything about sports.
Yeah.
So like he is absolutely so key for betting, for watching sports, for getting inside stuff. So gotta have him at my table, Jerry Maguire. And then
That's
anytime we win, you just tell him to scream, and it's just
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Yeah. So
that whole scene is great.
I go with Jerry Maguire for my guy.
That whole scene is great. I love black people. He
Oh
makes
my
him say
God.
that over.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah.
God, remember when Cuba Gooding Jr. was a thing and we gave him an Oscar?
Oh God.
And then he made Snow Dogs.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, I will just say I think that he is definitely, in my opinion, he's Back to the Blockbuster approved. If we're just putting his films in general, if it's just talking about his filmography, not his personal life, then he's approved. I mean, for me, the kicker is just doing all of your own physical stunts and trying to put yourself in harm's way. I mean, they kept the scene in when he in Mission Impossible. And he breaks his ankle as he's jumping across this thing, and then he gets up and keeps running because he doesn't want to ruin the take.
That was a shot,
and just shattered his ankle.
So my table,
unbelievable.
So my table was motherfucker. Why am I forgetting this already? Jerry Maguire,
Jerry Maguire, Maverick.
Jerry Maguire, Maverick, and fuck me, I'm already forgetting.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, Ray. I got Ray from War of the Worlds. So
you have a good dad and two.
we'll have to get a poll up on it. We'll have to get a poll up on Instagram and Twitter. Listeners, please vote who's got the best table. And we'll keep a running track of snake draft winners.
Yeah.
Nice.
When this episode drops on Thursday, I will I'll let it kind of sit for a little. Maybe I'll do it on Friday, and I'll just have a poll up for the roles that we picked and see who kind of wins.
Yeah.
In that regard. In that regard, I'm gonna say he's Back to the Blockbuster approved too. The only thing I want to say is that I love like the action movie stuff that he does, but I would love to see him kind of go back and like kind of do like a really good drama or something, because I think like He's a good actor. I mean, he's proven time and time again that he's a great actor. And I'm not saying that I will never say that he's phoning it in, because he's not phoning it in on these action movies at all. But I think there is more he can do with his range, and I kind of want to see that from him again. But I mean, that's
At a
just me
certain
being.
point, he's not going to be able to do it anymore. So he's going to have to go back to being a good like a good dramatic actor. He's
Yeah,
not going to be able to take the punches at 60 anymore. So hopefully
exactly.
he'll take the hint.
And he'll go 3 for 3 with Back to the Blockbuster approved, because as much as he's a weirdo, he puts asses in the seats, and he's entertaining.
Yeah.
So
Yes, he is.
I'll give it to
I
that.
agree. I mean, I think I've said this to one before, but I kind of feel like he's one of the last few like legit movie stars that we actually have. Where
Put his name on put his name on the poster. Tom Cruise in
Cruise.
like.
Yeah, and you don't really have that a lot anymore. I mean, of course, he was like a proponent of that in like the '90s and stuff. Like he was that the name above the poster. That's, you knew what you were getting, and they were always successful. I think he is one of the last remains. Like some people have said Brad Pitt, but I even think Brad Pitt's name above a movie or above a poster doesn't necessarily put a lot of butts in seats.
We're doing Brad Pitt next. We're doing Brad Pitt next.
That could be a good one.
Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence.
No, you're not doing Jennifer Lawrence.
We gotta do one. We gotta do one where you hate him. Oh, I do.
I will absolutely pick her apart.
I do. I kind of want to see it.
We can do Jennifer Lawrence if we do Brad Pitt first.
All right, fine. We can compromise. We're gonna end this though, because Top Gun Maverick does open this weekend, and it, like I said, it has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like all the early hype is so very good. It's opening over Memorial Day weekend, so like we're gonna kind of predict what we think it's gonna gross this weekend. And just in case you guys don't know, keep in mind that they're gonna be looking at the 4-day gross, because they're gonna count the Monday, the holiday, as part of the overall box office. So you're basically guessing what this film is gonna open with in its first 4 days. I don't know, like it's tracking at $80 million, so I'll just give you that, and then see what you guys think. I guess I'll go with Owen. Yeah, you go first.
Well, the first one made 350 million. So
Worldwide,
I think, worldwide. So if we're gonna go just the first weekend, I think with all of the nostalgia coming back from it, I'm gonna put it at like 95 for the first weekend.
That's a good number.
Bullish. That is bullish.
Oh, what's yours?
I'm taking into account the little rise in COVID, little deterrent, and then also add in that it's going to be a very nice weekend across the country for Memorial Day weekend. And I think everybody's excited to go out for a 4-day weekend. Excuse me, mine's 4 days at least. So I'm going to go with 72. 72.5. That's my number.
That's even below tracking too.
But tracking, dude, and no, but from working in the past, I know tracking is pretty spot on for like the big movies. So, especially a lot of this stature nostalgia. But I'm just saying the COVID, the scares. Like I got a couple, know people who got it, not really. So I'm just saying, 72.5.
Yeah. All right. That's all right. All right.
It'll win the weekend for sure.
Oh, it definitely is winning the weekend. That's not an issue. But okay, I will take that into consideration. There is an uptick in like COVID cases, and even though the movie is getting really great reviews, a part of me is like, how much will it break out beyond people who love the original Top Gun? Like, is it gonna appeal to like people that don't really know what it is? I saw it with my brother, and he had never seen Top Gun, and he did like it. But I do question the appeal. But I do think like having the reviews come out so early and being like everyone loves it, it's already certified fresh at 96%. There are even people talking about it for Academy Awards as well, like critics as well, are talking about it on that level too. I think I'm gonna go a little below Owen and go with 90 million for the opening weekend in the first 4 days.
All right,
but wouldn't be shocked if it like actually exceeded any of that. Like and you're right, it's going to be a nice weekend this weekend. There's a lot to kind of take into account, but Memorial Day weekend does typically tend to be a big weekend for big movies like this.
True. But in years past, we haven't had COVID. But that is not to say I think that it will dominate the weeks after. Like it's going to have a very small drop off from weekend to weekend because everyone's just going to be like, I'll see it next weekend. Or
Yeah,
I'll
I
see
think
it on Monday. Or
the
I'll see it
next
on
thing
Tuesday.
the next thing it has direct competition with is Jurassic World on June 10th.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
it
That's gonna
has
make a lot of money.
that's gonna make a lot of
This
money,
is
and like
easily a movie you say I'm going to see on $7 Tuesday or whatever. If you have
yeah,
this
I can,
weekend.
Matinee.
I can see actually the midweek numbers for Top Gun being really good.
Exactly.
And especially after the opening weekend, and then other people are like, "Oh, it's really that good," and people choosing to see it like on like a Tuesday showing, like you're saying. I can see that being the case as well. All right, so like we're gonna log these. So I'm at 90 million for 4 days. Owen's at 95. Jack's at 72.5. Right.
0.5.
All right. So I will also put up these numbers on a poll. I will do it on the Back to the Blockbuster page and on G Reels to kind of see who people agree with on that.
We need
Yeah.
we need playlists to like make little cartoons of us so we can put it on a little post up next to it.
That would be cool.
Oh, like a new anime. I can ask them. They've asked.
Dude, I
If,
got some ideas for a new logo since we got 3 of us now. We can we got personalities.
Yeah.
We'll talk offline about it.
Yeah, we'll talk offline about it. But yeah, since we do have 3 and it's all set, there's a lot more we can do with like the visuals. And we talked about what we're gonna do with like the quick takes and hot takes and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff coming, and very excited. And once again, very excited to add Jack permanently to the Back to the Blockbuster team. And just in time for this too, I just got a message from Instagram page called Rank the Podcast, and they're gonna spotlight our podcast. I think this week or next week, throughout the week. So they want us to send them like content for like either from old episodes or new episodes, and they're gonna share it throughout their socials on Instagram and Twitter and all that as well. So it's a good time for you to be added to the mix.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
So it's exciting. As always, Owen sign us off, and now Jack will have a permanent thing with his spiel at the end. So there we go.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, honestly, every Monday is what I look forward to. I love talking about what we watched over the weekend. You guys always give great recommendations. Really excited to check out that John Bernthal show, Jack, on HBO. That should be really good. And I just want to say a big shout out to Playlist. They've been such great contributors of ours. And we just have so much new exciting stuff that's coming your way, guys. And I just want to say thank you for listening on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any other way. My cat made a few appearances today, so if you want to see him, check him out on YouTube.
He always is there.
And just want to say thank you guys for listening. It's something that we just absolutely love doing, and there's so much good stuff coming out. So we have an endless amount of things to talk about. So, Jack, what's your favorite thing to say at the end?
I mean, just listeners, you've made it this far. You got one homework assignment for the week. Like, share, subscribe, give us a rating on iTunes, leave a comment, share like on Instagram at GReels, follow GReels too, follow Back to the Blockbuster. We want to hear what you guys got to say. So my homework assignment for you guys this week is like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And if you're daring, extra credit points, put something in the comments you want to hear us talk about next week. Again,
Perfect.
as I said, love it. Thank you guys for having me on. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Welcome.